Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining in with me on today. Today is truly a good day that God has given us another chance to get on here just to give a message to His good people. Pierre, thank you so much for joining in. Shani, thank you so much for joining in. I'm so glad to see you on here, Shani. Zizi, thank you so much for joining in. Zizi, go ahead and tag some people. Tamika, thank you so much for joining in. As always, Tamika does tag people in. Y'all, right now, I'm just going to let Facebook indicate to others that we're on live tonight. Shani said, "You got my attention." I'm so glad I got my cousin sister attention. It's a blessing when you see people on here that support you and believe in your vision and what God is doing in your life. So at this time, y'all, I'm gonna give Facebook a chance to go ahead and indicate to others that I'm on tonight. Y'all, I really believe that this message that God gave me, um, it's really a good message. It's really a good message. It's good to me because you know what? I know that this message is for me. Sometimes, y'all, I tell you, get the Bible and go into God's word when you're going through. Find a scripture, find a story of where people in the Bible have been through the same thing that or similar situations that you went through. And it was so funny because as I began to share and I began to look at things that was going on, I found myself with this story here. And y'all, it's good because you know what, sometimes you can start to read that Bible and you can get so deep into it and you can find yourself right there in the midst of what God was doing for the people in the Bible, but you can also find yourself right there in the midst of what God is doing for you. So I truly believe that this word on tonight, it was a good word. Y'all, it helped me. It helped me. And it's so funny because it ties into all these messages that I do and the messages that me and my husband do on Monday Night Live. Y'all, while y'all tagging people in and we're waiting for Facebook to indicate to others that I'm on, y'all go ahead and lift them hands up for my husband. He's behind the scene. He's working the camera, these microphones, these comments. He's doing it all. And like I told y'all, if it wasn't for him, I couldn't do it. I was telling one of my friends on last week. I said, girl, if I had to do this by myself, I said I had a phone in one hand. I said I'd be squinting in another hand. Tasha, thank you so much for joining in with me tonight. I said I'll be squinting in the other hand. I said, and then at some point I've been to put the phone all the way down, and y'all won't even see me no more. Y'all just hear me talking because I'll be trying to multitask. But thank God for my husband who has multiple talents, who knows how to do a lot when it comes to this audio and these videos and making different backgrounds and stuff like that. He's fabulous with that. That's just not my thing. But I thank God that he always knows how to make a team and to make the team work together. So at this time, I think I see Latanya. Latanya, thank you so much for joining in. Tasha said, "Hey Frank, teamwork. Yeah, teamwork. He hears you. He says thank you. Tamika, thank you so much, like I said, for jumping in. Y'all, I'm trying to let Facebook just indicate to others that I'm on tonight, but I promise y'all I'm gonna get into this word really, really soon. I've went and I've tagged a few people in. Let me just tag somebody else in real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to get started. Patricia Boxdale, thank you so much for joining in. I'm so glad. I think ZZ tag you in, but I try to tag you in too. But either way it go, I thank you for being on here. Linda Boo, thank you so much. Unique, thank you so much for jumping in on here tonight. Y'all can keep on tagging people in. I love it. But I'm gonna go ahead because I don't want to keep y'all real long. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this message. Now, y'all, this is a message that God had gave me. Now, you notice me and my husband, we had talked about a couple of weeks ago, my husband talking about embracing the journey. And when you embrace something, that means you accept it. When you embrace God's will, that means you accept God's will. You're open to do what God called you to do. And then last week on Monday, we talked about I can't stay here. I just can't stay like this. And y'all, as I began to get this message, it was it was good to me. It helped me. So I pray to God that it'll help you when you find yourself in these kind of times. So where God had led me to, he led me to Numbers 13. And this is when he sent the children of Israel to spy out the land. And what he did was God began to have a conversation with Moses. So let me just back up. Before he sent them to spy out the land, y'all remember when he kept telling Pharaoh to let his people go. So Pharaoh had these children of Israel caught up in bondage, and he would not let them go. He was working them like slaves, and Pharaoh just refused to turn his heart back to God. So what Pharaoh did was God sent Moses to tell Pharaoh to let these people go. Now, I'm just going to try to go through a brief summary. Moses went to Pharaoh several times and told Pharaoh, listen, God said, let these people go. Let my children go. Pharaoh refused to hearken to what Moses was telling him. So God began to, Javon Parker, thank you for joining in. God began to do plagues on Pharaoh. He began to plague the land with locusts. He did multiple things to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh still refused to let the people go. What Pharaoh did was every time Moses told him, God said, let my people go, he told him, okay, I'll let them go. Pharaoh even started to doubt when God was doing plagues on him. He said, oh, yeah, they just great musicians. But anyway, that's how the children end up getting through the Red Sea, and that's how they end up escaping from Pharaoh. Now, check this out. God, Shorty Calvin, thank you so much for joining in. God allowed, I'm sorry. That's my uncle's friend, Kevin Cox. Thank you for joining in. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. So God allowed these kids to escape through the Red Sea. Now, when in Numbers 13, it says, then the Lord spoke to Moses saying, notice God uses Moses. He uses Moses to go and send a message to the people. So God uses whoever he see fit to give a message to the people, but God chooses Moses, and he says, Moses, you know what? He says, the Lord then said to Moses, send a man to spy out Canaan, which I am going to give to the sons of Israel. So God said, I got a promise for y'all. He said, but Moses, what I need you to do is, Moses, get your men together. Now, remember, these are the same children that God had just freed from Pharaoh. So he tells Moses, he said, get your people together. Something big is about to happen for y'all. But before I can do this thing for y'all, Moses, I need you to get one man from every tribe that's with you. Get your best man, and I need you to send them over to this land, because I want y'all to spy out this land that I'm about to give you. This land is good that I'm about to promise to y'all, but I need y'all to go over there and see. What God was saying is, what I'm about to do is big in your life, but before I give it to you, I want you to go and get a glimpse of what I'm trying to get to you. So God is saying, I'm about to let you see a little bit of your future. So he tells Moses to get all these men from the tribe and send them over there, spy out this land, come back and give me a report on what you see. So Moses gathers these men together, and he tells them what God has told him, and he sends them out to spy out this land. Y'all, when God is about to get ready to do something big for you, God always will give you a preview of what he's doing before he does it. So God tells them, listen, I need y'all to go over there, and I need y'all to spy out the land. I need y'all to see what I'm trying to give y'all. Y'all have not possessed it yet, but I'm just trying to give you a glimpse of what's to come, because I just delivered you from Pharaoh. Now, when they were with Pharaoh, they had heartache and pain. They had stress. They was depressed. They was woe out because Pharaoh was wearing these children out. But what God said is, I heard your tears. I seen your pain. I seen how Pharaoh worked you. And now I'm about to bless you in spite of where you just came from. So now, Moses gets these people together. Now, remember, it was so many people that he sent out 12 spies. But y'all remember this. It was 2 spies. One name was Joshua and one name was Caleb. Remember those 2 names because those names are so key. So he sends out these spies and he tells them, he said, I want y'all to go over there and come back and give me a report of what y'all see. So God said, I'm trying to let y'all see something. First, I'm trying to let y'all see y'all enemies. So before I even send you to this land, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what you're about to come up against. But what I'm going to also do is let you know that I'm going to be with you. God said, I'm trying to give you a glimpse of your future, but I'm also letting you see the hindrances and the roadblocks that's going to come before you. So now now Moses sends these spies out. He said, what I want y'all to do, go check out y'all enemies. See, God said, I'm so good that I know that trials and tribulations are going to come your way. I know that there are going to be roadblocks that come ahead of you. But what I'm about to allow you to do is I'm about to let you see what you about to come up against. And the beauty of it all, you going to see them and they not going to see you. Why? Because God said, I'm sending you on a mission to spy out something. I'm trying to show you something. So as I began to read this story, I said, this is really good. And it says Moses sent these people out. Now check it out. The people was held up by Pharaoh. Moses was the same person God talked to then and told him to go over and how to get them free from Pharaoh. So now he uses Moses again. He says, listen, Moses, I'm going to use you again to bless these kids. I see what they went through when Pharaoh had them hostage. Now, y'all better check this out. What's the Pharaoh in your life that's holding you back in a land that God told you to go temporarily and come out? Think about it. What's holding you back? Is it a relationship? Is it your job? Is it your marriage? Is it your finances? Is it something that you encountered in your life? What's the Pharaoh that's holding you back? Because I'm going to show you something. Pharaoh has such a tight grip on these kids that their mindset was not ready to receive the blessing that God had given them. But I'm going to break the story down for you. So now Moses sends them out. God said, I'm trying to show y'all something. He said, go check out your enemies. So now Moses sent them out to spy the land of Canaan out and said to them, God was so good, he even told Moses, I want you to tell them to go to the north. I want you to tell them then turn around and go through the hills. So God gave specific instructions and directions on which way he wanted them to go. He said, also make every effort, y'all. I'm cutting down because the story is kind of long, but I'm just paraphrasing. He said, make every effort to get some of the fruit of the land. He said, now the time was the time of the first ripe grape. God said, I'm about to send you over to a land that's prosperous, is flowing with milk and honey. And while you over there, I want you to get some of that fruit that's over there, because this is the time of the harvest where the grapes are just blooming. So I want you to taste what I'm trying to give you. So God sends them over there. He gives Moses specific instructions. Moses turns around and he gives these children specific instructions on what he wants them to do when they go over to the land. So now they went up to the land and they spying out the land. But check it out. God said, I don't want y'all to have no surprises. I don't want you to have no surprise that your enemies are over there. I don't want y'all to have no surprise that trials and tribulations are going to come when you try to go into this land. I don't want you to have no surprises. So what I want you to do is I want you to send 12 men and I want y'all to go see what's in that land and come back to Moses, and Moses is going to give Moses the report. Check it out. You got to change your mind. Sometimes God is trying to bring you from where you are, but it all boils down to your mindset. You know, sometimes we say, it's because of where I came from. But if God has told you that I understand where you came from, I understand you came from a neighborhood where everything was going on. And I understand you came from neighborhoods where you had some pharaohs in that neighborhood. But what I'm trying to do is send you somewhere else. I want you to come out of there, because guess what? I have better for you. So God is saying, but I need you to change your mind. When you come out, you can't come out with the same mind. That's why, like Tasha said, renew your mind. God said, I need you to change your mind. And I need you to say, if God delivered me from Pharaoh, then I know whatever he has for me is good. But you also need to say, God is also showing me what I'm going into before he even sends me there. But God wants me to have my mindset ready to receive the blessing that's coming to me. Because I understand that back there with Pharaoh, I was stressed, I was depressed, I was wore out, I was tired, I was aggravated, and I was upset. But God said, I took care of Pharaoh on your behalf. So if you believe that I took care of Pharaoh for you and parted the Red Sea, then I just need you to trust me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Some of us is walking in territory that we really don't understand how we got there. But God is saying, I don't want you to understand. I just want you to trust me. So now, y'all, so then the spies come back. This is the part that messed me up. It says, when the spies returned back to the land, they started telling Moses, we went to the land where you sent us, and it is certainly flowing with milk and honey. And this is it, the fruit. So they bring the fruit back. So they didn't forget that part. They go over there, they get the fruit. They say the fruit was so big that they had to prop this fruit up between two poles just to bring it back. But they come back and they say, the land sure enough is good. It's flowing with milk and honey. Just like God told you, the fruit is ripe. But then they turn around and says, see, you got to be careful when the men that, or the people that's in your circle, they don't have the same mindset as God. See, God said he wants you to have the same mindset as Christ. So God is saying, Moses, go back. God is probably saying, which God already knew what they was going to think, but Moses is probably saying, y'all should be rejoicing right now because God just made a big promise to y'all that he's finna take you somewhere that you never seen. And not that he's finna take you somewhere that you never seen, but he's finna walk you into blessings, a land that's flowing of milk and honey. So they come back, y'all, and they say, we went to the land where you sent us. And it certainly does flow with milk and honey. And this is the fruit. So they bring back the fruit. They don't forget that part. And now they tell him, but we're not going to be able to get in that land. So now their mindset is negative. And they start to assume it. Be careful when God is finna bless you and the circle that you running in. First of all, they negative and they start to assume everything that they really don't know. They assume what God is thinking before God can even think it. And remember, God said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. So God says, I have good thoughts towards you. I'm trying to send you into good land. But they start assuming that they know God. So now they said that now they starting to complain to Moses, and they saying that those people over there, they big. We seen those people, they big. In their eyesight, we look like grasshoppers. We look small to them. First of all, how you know how you look to some people and all you supposed to been doing was over there spying out the land? God ain't told you to go over there and have no conversation, and neither did you have a conversation because you already came back and said that they think that we grasshoppers. Y'all, I'm going somewhere. I'm just trying to break it down. So now they come back and they say, we can't take it. We just ain't gonna be able to do it. Moses, them people over there, they big. We look like grasshoppers in their eyesight. So guess what? Now you assume how these people see you. Don't you know sometimes that's the worst thing that'll mess you up in life, when you start assuming what people think and you never sat down to even ever have a conversation with these people. God didn't tell you to have a conversation with the people. He told you, I just need you to go over there and look around, come back and give a report to Moses. And then I'm going to tell Moses how to send y'all in that land to obtain the land. See, I'm trying to bless you, but y'all come back and now y'all trying to stress Moses out because y'all saying it can't be done. But Moses is saying, God said it can be done. God has sent me into the land to free you all from Pharaoh, so I know it can be done. But you all are turning around telling me it can't be done. Now Moses said, here we go again. Y'all complain when Pharaoh had y'all in bondage and God set y'all free. Y'all complained then, and now I got to deal with this mess one more time. When are y'all going to start trusting God and stop trusting the people that you see? That's good. Y'all putting more trust in them people over there in that land that you see than you putting trust in God, because you coming back talking about the people and not the plan. God said, where there's no vision, the people will perish. You know what God was telling Moses? Tell these people, go over there, write the vision, make it plain. Though it may tarry, it still come to pass. Come back with a vision. Write the vision, make it plain. Though it may tarry, it's still coming to pass. Write the vision. Come back to you with a vision. You gonna talk to me, and I'm gonna tell you how we gonna operate the vision to make it come to pass. But instead, the people come back and start telling Moses how bad the blessing is. You better be careful when God trying to bless you and you in a circle that don't see nothing but negativity. When you in a circle that can't even see what God is trying to do with us because we stuck. See, Pharaoh let us go, but our mindset is still stuck with Pharaoh even though we in another place. See, remember y'all, there was a song, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. See, your body is right there with Moses, but your mind is still stuck back there with Pharaoh. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So God is giving them this vision, and he's telling Moses, go in there and you tell them kids that I need them to spy out the land and come back and give you a report. Now they come back to report telling Moses how bad it is and how the people looking at them. First of all, you better quit worrying about how people looking at you, because then you start to assume things. God didn't say go into the land and assume what you want to assume. He said, I'm about to give you the land that's flowing with milk and honey. All I need you to do is go in there and get a vision and come back and give Moses the vision that you get. Write the vision, make it plain. Make it plain when you come back with the report to Moses. Because when you come back to with the report to Moses, then I'm going to work with the report that you gave me, but I can't do nothing with you if you don't change your mindset. See, a defeated mindset is not going to move you anywhere. It's going to move you backwards, because guess what? Y'all still want to be with Pharaoh. God made Pharaoh let y'all go, but in y'all mind, Pharaoh still has y'all. But God is saying, I'm trying to bring y'all into a land that's flowing with milk and honey. I'm trying to bless you, but now you want to go back where Pharaoh was stressing you. So God is saying, stop assuming that my plan works like your plan. My plan is not your plan. God said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to bless you. All I asked you to do was write the vision, make it plain, though it may tarry. It's coming to pass. But now you start mumbling against Moses, because guess what? You think that I think like you. And I've told you over and over, I'm not confused about being who I am. God said, I am God all by myself. See, God said you might be confused about what you're doing, but I'm not confused about what I'm doing. See, don't get it twisted. God says, I know. See, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. God never says, you know the thought that I think towards you. He said, for I know this. So now you get these kids over here and they come back with the report, and that just blew my mind, because God just made Pharaoh let you go. So I said, what is your Pharaoh? You might have been battling with sickness and God healed your body. So God delivered you from your sickness. You might have been financially burdened and God blessed you. So God delivered you from your financial burdens. You may be going through ups and downs, changes and turnaround, but God delivered you from those things. So God delivered you from Pharaoh. So why you still complaining? God said, all I'm trying to do is show you that I was the same then when Pharaoh had you, that I'm the same God then that I'm going to be now in your life. So now I'm looking and they come back and they say, listen, we ain't going to be able to do it, Moses. You go back and you tell God that them people that we seen, them people was like giants. And we're not going to be able to take this land. And you know, the people even looked at me like a grasshopper. And they said, like a grasshopper in our own sight. So were we in theirs. Now you saying, I feel like I look like a grasshopper. So now you telling God, I'm too small for this job. This job too big for me. I'm just a small person. And you trying to send a small person to do a big job. But God's saying, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. See, I didn't see you the way you seen yourself. I didn't see you as a grasshopper. I seen you as a spy that was going over to this land that was flowing with milk and honey, that was going to come back and give me a report. I seen you as a person with a vision. I seen you as a person with a dream. I seen you as a person with hopes. I seen you as a person with destiny. I never looked at you as a grasshopper. But sometimes God is saying, I'm glad you told me how you look at yourself and what you think I think about you, because maybe you are too small for this big job. So check it out, y'all. So now they come back. And now Caleb says, listen, I need y'all to be quiet. He says, Caleb says, quiet the people before Moses and said, let us go at once and take possession of it. For we will certainly conquer it. You got Caleb. Caleb say, hold on. Now Caleb is out of the 12. It's 12 people. Check your circle. It's 12 people in this circle. You got Caleb who step up and say, hold on now. I don't have a defeated mindset. I didn't see what you see. What are y'all talking about that the people see us like grasshoppers? Y'all assuming that this is happening. That's not what I seen. What I seen is that we about to go in and we about to possess the land. So Caleb tell these people, hold on, in his circle. I'm going to need y'all to be quiet for a minute. I'm going to tell y'all what I seen. Because if we go off y'all report, we ain't going into this land that's flowing with milk and honey. We're not finna be blessed by God. We finna be stressed and probably going backwards to where we came from. Y'all gotta hold on now. So Caleb tells Moses, no, Moses, that ain't the report that I seen. Caleb steps up and say, if they won't do it, then I'll do it. See, you gotta be careful when you running with a circle, because I'm gonna tell y'all what I see. You got a lot of people in circles, and they tell you the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. See, we ain't going to flock together unless we have something in common. And when you try to come out of that circle, watch how they say, look at her. She thinks she better than me, or look at him. No, it's just because I know the hell that I was in when Pharaoh had me. God blessed me away from Pharaoh. I can't stay in this group. Remember, I told y'all some places you just not going to be able to stay in no more. When God is saying, I need you to come up out of there, and I need you to give me your vision. And when you give me your vision and make it plain, I'm finna show you a glimpse into the future. Caleb said, wait a minute, Moses, listen. They ain't speaking for me because my future is at stake. God said he's about to send me in a land flowing with milk and honey. God said he's about to bless me. So wait a minute. Let me give you my report. So Caleb gives him his report. And he said, no, we're about to take this land. And it says, I was thinking, don't let your mind play tricks on you. When God's saying he about to give you something, God is not a man that he shall lie. God is not a man that his word is going to come back and have to go out void. So God is saying, listen, I did it when Pharaoh had y'all, and I'm going to do it again. That's why I sent y'all to spy out the land. I'm showing y'all enemies. Y'all enemies can't see y'all. Y'all see them, but they don't see you. I'm showing you that the blessings over there is good. God is saying, all I need you to do is walk with me and just see what I'm trying to give you. Come back with your vision. Your vision, tell it to Moses. Moses gonna give me the report, and then I'm gonna tell Moses how to get y'all in the land. That's not what the people sing. So God was telling me, you got to be careful when birds of a feather flock together. And I just, y'all know, I began and I was studying this lesson, and it's just so much in it. And then God was saying, sometimes you got to be slow to speak and quick to listen. So Caleb steps up and he says, listen, that ain't what I seen. So anyway, then the congregation of Israel raised their voice and cried out. The people wept all night. So now they start complaining. If you stop complaining sometimes and listen to what God is trying to tell you and show you, sometimes you'll get further than where God is trying to take you to, because you're not complaining so much. So they start complaining. These kids end up complaining to the point where they told Moses, listen, why don't you, we would have been better off if we would have just died. You should have left us over there with Pharaoh. So now your circle is saying, we not finna do no better. So God began to say, okay, you know what? That's fine. Joshua and Caleb stepped out and said, wait a minute, we're about to possess this land. So Joshua and Caleb, when they stepped out, they said, we're going to possess the land. So Joshua and Caleb said, I got to believe better than what we just came from. I can't keep playing like I'm in poverty when God said, I'm finna go to a land that's flowing with milk and honey. God began to show me that sometimes you're going to have to get away from what you surrounded around if we not going nowhere. See, this is what God began to tell me. God said, if 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'll be a God in the midst. See, Caleb and Joshua was the only 2 spies that came back and gave a good report. So God says, you know what? If 2 or 3, now God said 2 is enough, but I even add one more on. If 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'll be a God in the midst. So he had Caleb and Joshua. God said, I'll be a God in the midst. He said, how can 2 walk unless they agree? So Joshua and Caleb agreed that we not finna play like we still held bondage by Pharaoh. God has shown us a land flowing with milk and honey. We ain't even talked to the people, but y'all saying how the people feel about us, and the people ain't had a conversation about us. Don't get caught up on other people's opinion when God is trying to elevate you in your life. So God had begun to show me that as I began to read the story, it was real good that sometimes I'm going to just tell the truth. Your mindset is still where you used to be. God is saying, but I did a new thing in your life. But now you going back and forth with God saying, but God, I used to be there. And God is saying, I took you from there for a reason. But you going back saying, but God, I used to be there. And God is saying, but you're not there for a reason. And it's like sometimes God is trying to upgrade you, but because your mindset ain't caught up with what God is trying to do, you arguing with God, and all God is trying to do is bless you. God said when Pharaoh had you, you was a slave. He stressed you, he depressed you, he worked you like a dog. Y'all even lost people up under Pharaoh's supervision. But God said, I'm trying to give you back double for all your trouble. I'm trying to send you to a land that's promised to you. See, everything that I promised to you, I'm trying to walk you into it right now. But see, you so caught up in what we used to do that you can't move to what we gonna do. You so caught up in how I used to be that you can't see how I am now. So God began to show me that some of the problems that we fighting with is because we won't do. See, God said, old things have passed away. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. See, God is saying, I can't get you no further than where you want to go, because if your mind is still stuck in the land on Pharaoh, I can't take you to a land that's flowing with milk and honey, because you tired. Your body is here with Moses, but your mind is still on Pharaoh. God said, you better get your mind off of the things that held you back, whether it be your job. See, you ain't at your old job no more. God said, behold, I'm doing a new thing. God said, I'm trying to take you to a new place. You ain't in that old relationship no more. God said, behold, I'm trying to give you a new thing. God said, I'm trying to give you a husband, but the husband is in the land that's flowing with milk and honey, but you still talking about the man you had when you was with Pharaoh. That man died in the Red Sea, but you can't seem to take your mind off of the man that was with Pharaoh. You still holding on to the man that died in the Red Sea. You so angry and bitter about being blessed that you telling God, listen, God, you should have took me in the Red Sea when you took my man, because guess what? God is saying, I'm the same God that delivered you from that man. You don't remember the nights you cried. You don't remember the nights you was stressed. You don't remember the nights you was depressed. You don't remember the nights you asked me, God, deliver me. Now I delivered you and parted the Red Sea, and you still stuck with Pharaoh. Come on now. So God began to tell me sometimes it's who you caught up with. My circle is big, but our goals are small. My circle is big, but our destiny is going backwards. My circle is large, but my future is in my past. Your circle. God is saying that's what's holding you back is the circle that you got yourself in. God said, Moses, listen, I'm going to give you 12. And I'm going to see out of that 12 who going to believe my word. I'm going to see out of that 12 who going to believe me. I'm going to see out of that 12 who going to trust in the Lord with all their heart and lean not to their own understanding. God said, Moses, listen. I hear him mumbling. I hear him grumbling. But one thing I know, I'm not confused about when I blessed you out of the hands of Pharaoh. I'm not confused. God began to say, you might be confused about what you're doing, but I ain't never confused about what I'm doing. God said, because I'm not a man that had to sit up and lie. I'm not a man that's going to send a word to bless you and it has to bounce back like a check. God said, I'm just not going to do it. So now I'm looking at these the children, and they complaining to Moses, talking about we should have just died back there when we was with Pharaoh, and you should have left us there. And Moses is sad now because he like, God just delivered y'all out of the hands of your problems, and you got the audacity to turn around and say I should have left you back there. Sometimes you got to turn around and say to yourself, no, why didn't you leave yourself back there? You know what you was going through. So you wasn't that naive about, you wasn't that hot about being back there with Pharaoh because you ran your butt through that Red Sea. See, sometimes people talk that talk, but they don't want to walk the walk that God is trying to take them in. And I began to look at this story, and they said, y'all, I'm gonna read it. It said Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh. It says those were the two people who they got angry, and they said they tore their clothes off as a sign of grief. And they said, I'm steady hearing y'all mumbling and complaining. So now Joshua and Caleb is like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all sitting here complaining when Pharaoh had us held hostage. Pharaoh basically was using us as slaves. You got the audacity to turn around and complain to Moses about how good God has been. Be careful when you get with a circle and all they do is complain about a blessing. You better check your circle, because guess what? Joshua and Caleb start checking the circle. They say, hold on. God just delivered us. And if God did it then, I know God gonna do it now. He said, listen, Moses, don't worry about it. Me and Caleb going to possess the land. See, all you need to do in your circle is get one that see the vision that you see, and you see the vision that they see, and y'all about to go possess some stuff that other people scared to possess. God said, if 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'll be a God in the midst. So God said, all I need is 2 or 3 that gather in my name, and y'all about to take this land. So God sees Caleb and Joshua and Caleb, and Joshua and Caleb say, hold on, we're going to have to leave this circle. This circle is big, but y'all dreams are small. See, I began to look at people. Now check this out. We can get together to fight, but we can't get together to make a dream come true. Check your circle. See, you got to understand what's going on in your circle in order for you to check your circle. But if you're the ringleader of the circle, you're not going to check the circle because you're the one bringing the drama to the circle. But what Joshua and Caleb did said, hold on, we got to look at who with us now. But one thing I like that they did, they say, if God be for us, then who can be against us? They understood who is for us and who is against us. See, all these men that's in this tribe is not for us. Though we together, we really not together, because they say birds of a feather flock together. So half of the birds didn't want to go no further than they was, but you got those two that said, we coming out. We're about to take the city. We're about to possess the land. God has given me a dream and I'm about to flow in my dream. God said I'm about to go into a land that's flowing with milk and honey. So I began to look at this story and I say, sometimes you got to check out what you're surrounded by. You got to pay attention to your circle, because as long as we not going nowhere, we all right. But the minute say, listen, you done been there too long, baby. I want you to come on up out of there. You know how sometimes, let's tell the truth, how parents start telling their kids, you done been there too long. I need you to come up out of there. And you know how sometimes you start hearing, but you don't understand. And that didn't happen in your time. And this is a new generation. And we do it that way. Okay. And when you get finished saying all that, I'm still going to say, baby, you've been with Pharaoh a little bit too long. I need you to come out of there. Because guess what? I prayed for you. And God said to send you a word and tell you to come out of there. But sometimes we so busy holding on to our problems. You was living in poverty, but God says, I'm bringing you to a land that's flowing with milk and honey. But you saying, back in my mama day, we didn't have this. God said, you no longer in mama day. I'm bringing you into a time where you're going to flow in milk and honey. God said, I need you to renew your mind. The same mindset that I gave to Christ, I need you to have that same mindset. God said, I ain't confused when I sent you a word. You might be confused, but I ain't confused about what I'm saying. I'm saying come out of there. So God is showing us that it's time for us to come out of some places. It's time for us to come out of some situations and circumstances. It's time for us to come out of poverty. It's time for us to come out of being broke, busted, disgusted, and depressed. See, I understand that there's a time for everything, but I also understand that God will send you a word. See, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. And I can walk my life through this story. And that's what I do. I find how Vanessa fit in here. There was once a time, and I told y'all, Vanessa was depressed. I was stressed. I was miserable. I was unhappy. And I understood that was the place that I was. And what God began to tell me is that, Vanessa, I never left you or forsake you, that I'm still with you. God began to show me that you don't have to stay where you are, because my word would bring you out of any situation and circumstance that you're going through. See, my mind was depressed, and God turned around and says, by my stripes, your mind will be healed. See, I thought everything was against me. God said, if I be for you, I am more than the world against you. See, God began to feed his word to me when I was with Pharaoh. See, sometimes your Pharaoh can be depression. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm saying that it's durable if you hold on to God. See, the Bible says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. I didn't understand nothing about depression, but I know I found myself in it. But I understood that God said that I'll be with you. Yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you should not fear no evil. He said, Vanessa, I'll be a rod, I'll be a staff, and I'll be a comfort you. God said, I am what you need me to be at the time that you need me to be in. So guess what? God said, I done delivered you from that. Now, Vanessa, I'm trying to take you into a land that's flowing with milk and honey. He said, but all I need you to do is go spy out some things. I need you to look into your future and see what I'm doing. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. Everything that I did in the beginning is good. Everything that I'm trying to do for you now is going to be good. But what I want you to do is I want you to go into this land and just sit back. And that while you in this land that's flowing with milk and honey that I promised to you, I need you to get your pen and piece of paper. Start writing a vision and make it plain. Though it tarry, it'll still come to pass, because guess what? I've showed you a glimpse of the future. Not only have I showed you a glimpse of the future, I also showed you who your enemies was going to be. I showed you what your circle was going to look like before. I showed you what your circle was going to look like after. I showed you this land that was promised to you. But all I need you to do is spy it out and get your pen and say, I wrote the vision, God. I made it plain. I understand that it may tarry, but it's still coming to pass. God is saying, y'all better get y'all pens and piece of paper out. And y'all better start writing the vision and make it plain. God said, I'm showing y'all a glimpse of the future. No, I haven't gave it to you. You haven't possessed it yet. Because I need to make sure that your mind is ready to go into the land. So guess what? I'm going to show you that there's enemies in the land. But I'm going to show you that there's fruit and there's good and plenty in the land. So what I need you to do is understand that I'm up against some things. But I understand that God said, I'm going in with you. Matter of fact, God said, I'll go before you because I already know what's in that land. And I'm going to send you behind me. And I want your mind to line up with my mind. And we're going to come back and we're going to figure out how we're going to possess this land. God said, I ain't confused about you possessing the land. But I need you to understand that you're going to have to trust me when I'm giving you instruction. So as God had begin to show me, y'all, check your circle. God said, check your circle. God said, anytime I send 10 men into the land, and this was the circle, and only 2 is able to accomplish the job that I gave to them. Why? Because they trusted God. Why? Because they believed God's word. Why? Because they knew God when they was held hostage with Pharaoh. See, sometimes you can't keep pulling everybody where you going, because everybody ain't ready for the dream and the vision that God is trying to bring you to. Everybody don't really want to go where God is trying to bring you to. So God said, I'm going to let your circle go in to spy out the land with you. But one thing about it, everybody can't get in there like you. Check it out. Check your circle. So I had begun to look, and I was telling God, thank you. I said, life ain't easy. I was talking to my youngest daughter this morning, and I told her, I said, life ain't easy. I said, but it's doable. I said, how? You got to trust God. I said, I done been through a lot. I said, but I don't let what I've been through start to possess me. See, I don't let my situations and circumstances become my pharaohs no more. One time, y'all, I probably was like the children. I was complaining, moaning, and groaning. But like the old people say, they tell you, what you crying for? Your tears ain't gonna make the situation no better and ain't gonna make the situation no worse. So you might as well stop crying and just do what they ask you to do. And that's what God is saying. Sometimes in this life, we're gonna have to suck it up and just do what God asks us to do. No matter what we see ahead of us, we're gonna have to know that we trust a God that can move everything out of our way. So y'all, with that being said, it was a lot in this story that I had got. And I was just telling God, I thank you. I said, God, I understand now, y'all. I'm not going to lie. It's situations and circumstances. I tell the truth. I tell my own story. I can tell my story better than anybody can. When I was in that depression, I did not understand what the heck was going on with me. And I cried and I cried and I cried and I did not understand and I did not understand and I cried. So I understand those kids crying. But it was a day when I got up and I said, Though they slay me, Lord, I still trust you. I don't understand this valley that I'm in because right now everything is dark. But God said, you better remember that I am the light. Every dark place in your life, I'm about to shine light. God said, I don't need you to be down that long. I need you to get back up again. And I got into God's word because y'all, you better hold on to God like never before when you going through trials and tribulations. Sometimes complaining, it ain't moving nothing. All complaining doing is letting the devil know how to operate even harder on you because you're complaining about something. The devil ain't confused about how God can deliver his people. So don't you get confused about how God can deliver you. And y'all, as I was going through that depression, all I kept looking to was God. God, I don't understand. I talk to God on a daily basis, 24/7. God, you got to help me. God, I don't know how I got here. God, I don't know what happened to me. But all I did know is I was coming out of that bondage from Pharaoh. I was coming out of that depression. See, it was a time, the more I talk to God, I can see my strength coming back. I can see God saying, I'll be your strength when you're weak. I can see myself rising up again. God said, you about to take the city because you don't realize what you possess inside of you. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. God said, because you're not in the world, the greatest one is on the inside of you. And I'm about to give you strength to bring that vision to pass. I'm about to give you strength to birth that dream. I'm about to give you strength to not only sit behind the scenes, but you come and be in front of the scenes. I'm about to give you strength to not just be an ordinary worker, but to be the CEO of your company. See, God said, I need you to think like me because what I think about you is something big. Don't see yourself as small, and don't you stay in no circle where everybody in there see themselves as grasshoppers. God said, that's not the crowd I want you to run with. He said, Joshua and Caleb, I need you to come out among the 12. Let the 12 stay there because God said, I can't prove to y'all no more what I can do because I already showed y'all. I've given y'all a glimpse of the land and you come back and you still complain. But my faithful servant Joshua and Caleb, I need some Joshua and Caleb's to come out among the crowd. See, you're going to have to tell the circle, we've been in mess for too long. See, anytime our day revolves around he say, she say, they say, we say, he say, and we're not talking about God. See, the circle is all messed up anyway. See, we confused about what's going on. See, if we can't get together and say, girl, I'm going to praise God on your behalf. Girl, I see the gift that you have, and I thank God that he's put something down on the inside of you. Girl, I see that you have an opportunity in this world. If 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'll be a God in the midst. Girl, let's get together and praise God because God said if we get together, he'll be in the midst of it. See, the circle can't revolve around garbage. God don't operate in garbage. Like the kids said, we could have left you back there with Pharaoh because Pharaoh had a lot of trash for you to clean up. But God said, I'm bringing you from amongst the trash and I'm finna bring you in the land that's flowing the milk of honey. Y'all better check this circle. God began to say, tell my people, check their circle. You better check the circle. See, the circle is not for you no more. And it's okay to outgrow the circle because sometimes we're afraid to come out amongst those that don't look like us. But you're not going where I'm going. You want to stay where God has delivered us from. I'm trying to get to the blessing that God is trying to take us in. And you telling me it's not doable. Well, then maybe it's time for me to change my circle because God has just told me to go spy out the land, and I got a land that's flowing with milk and honey. But you saying, remember when we used to do that? God is saying you ain't doing that no more. Remember when we used to do that? And God is saying you're not there no more. Remember when we used to live in poverty? God said you ain't in poverty no more. I'm bringing you into financial stability. Check y'all circle. And as God begins to talk to me, y'all, on tonight, God said, everybody ain't going with you, so don't worry about it. And it began to show me with Abraham and Sarah. When God told Abraham, pick up your stuff and leave your father's house, leave your family. I'm about to take you somewhere. I'm going to make you a father of many nations, great nations. And Abraham decides to take Lot. So he takes his nephew Lot with him, and Lot causes, it wasn't Lot that caused problems. It was the people that Lot brought with him. Check the circle. So Abraham tells Lot, come go with me. Now Lot tells his men, come go with me. And now we got a circle. We got Abraham and his posse and Sarah, and we got Lot and his posse. Now we got this circle, but now the circle starts to bump head. God said, I didn't tell you to take Lot with you in the first place, because now what happened is you just got a lot of problems that's holding you back from getting to where you're going. So God separated Abraham and Lot, and he sent Lot one way and Abraham the other way, because guess what? Lot's plan wasn't God's plan. Abraham had God's plan. Lot's plan was not with God's plan. So sometimes God is saying, you trying to pull people in you trying to take people in this circle that God told you to separate from a long time ago. I don't care who it is. I mean, sometimes God is telling us separate from your job. Your job ain't flowing with milk and honey no more. I'm trying to do a new thing in your life. You're not just going to be an ordinary worker. You're going to be the CEO of this company, but you steady trying to bring the job into the new place that I'm trying to take you in. The relationship, y'all, the saddest thing is to see God has delivered you from a relationship that you cried about all your life. And instead of you leaving and trying to go where God has your husband at, you stuck back then. God said, I'm trying to do a new thing. God said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Your husband is in this land. He's trying to find you, but you back here and you trying to find what you want. You still looking for Pharaoh. Pharaoh long gone. God saying, come on in this land. Your husband right here, but you just can't seem to understand what God is doing. God is saying he's not confused when he's telling you to do things. And y'all, with that being said, I thank each and every one of you all on tonight. God is saying, check your circle. And sometimes I mean, and it doesn't mean that you better than nobody. That's not what I'm saying, because, my youngest daughter always say, ain't nobody that far in advance from nobody else. So we understand that nobody's better than nobody. But when God is trying to operate and work in your life, you can't play in every pig pen that your friends decide to play in. I'm just keeping it real. You can't stay in a neighborhood that God told you to come out of. God could be sending you back to this neighborhood when he does a new thing in you. God is trying to send you back to get his people, but you just won't leave from amongst the people to get the blessing, to go back and get the people, because you're worried about, I used to do it that way. So y'all, with that being said, I hope this message really blessed y'all on tonight. I really couldn't get it like I wanted to, because it's a lot. And like I said, with me working, it's kind of hard because I work long hours now, but I study at my job, and I study when I come home. But I just believe this was a good word. It was good to me, because God just began to tell me. He said, Vanessa, if I blessed you from your birth, first of all, I told you, I knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. And I ordained you. So God said, I had a promise for you before you even hit this earth. Now, are we going to go through trials and tribulations? God said, yeah. He said, but guess what? I've heard every tear that you cry. I seen when you was depressed. I seen when you was stressed. I seen when you was upset. I seen when you was frustrated. I seen when you had grief in your life on losing somebody. But now I'm trying to tell you that I'm finna take you I'm about to give you double for your trouble. But I need you to come out amongst the place that you've been at for so long. And y'all, God just began to tell me that sometimes you just can't stay. And that was just so, I look back and I said, me and my husband talked about embracing the journey. In order to embrace the journey, you got to accept God's will. That's the only way you're going to embrace the journey. It got to be something that you want to accept, because I'm going to tell you this, God is not forcing nobody to take the journey, but God is willing. Remember, he said, if you knock, I'll come in. If you want to sup with me, the door is open. God said, I got an open door policy. My office is never closed. I got an open door policy. He said, but I need you to want what I want for you. So with that being said, y'all, I thank each and every one of y'all on tonight that you all even take the time out to come out with me on the Thursday night. God said, when I tell you to possess the land, I want you to possess the land. What I tell you to do, everybody not going to like it and everybody not going to understand. But God said, you keep going. He said, don't you look back like Lot wife and then you turn into a pillar of salt because you're trying to worry about what your circle doing. God said, I'm moving you out of Sodom and Gomorrah and I'm moving you into a land that's flowing with milk and honey. So y'all, with that being said, once again, I thank each and every one of you all who take the time to join in with me on tonight. Y'all, I pray this word was received. I tried to give it to y'all. I had so much in it. I'm gonna read a few comments. Y'all, give me a second. Minnie said, you're doing a great work. Keep your hope and trust in God. You are built for this. Minnie, I do believe that I am built for this. You know, I told my daughter on today that even though I go through a lot, I still got to do what God called me to do. Who else? Sherry Dilla say you yes, it was a great word, so powerful. Just an amazing job. I'm sorry, y'all, my eyes, I'm a little blind. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Nisi said, please keep going. Nisi, I can't keep going. My voice will be out of here. But Nisi, don't worry. Join me on Monday Night Live. Y'all, what I'm gonna try to do is for the teen girls, I'm gonna try to put something together just to speak to y'all. I can't say that I'm gonna do no whole nother day. I might just do a special day where I just put something together and I tag y'all all in it, y'all, because this job got me a little bit tight with the schedule now. Nisi, but I'll keep that in mind. What you said, Nisi, I'll keep it in mind. I'll keep it in mind. But I am gonna try to put something together. Monique will Linda Boo say very good word. Thank you, Linda Boo. Linda Boo, I'm glad to see you on here tonight. Minnie, I'm glad to see you on here tonight. Monique will say good word. Monique, I'm glad to see you on here tonight. My cousin Shani, I'm glad to see my cousin Shani on here tonight. You know, God is just telling people to be encouraged. I just believe we need to be encouraged. Bert, my friend Colleen say that's a good word. Thank you so much, Colleen. For your comments. I see my daughter Zizi, Latanya Rainey. Thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. Y'all, it's good. It's Peaches, Krishan Davis, thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. I also seen Lucretia Boxdale. Thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. For everybody that's on here that I see and I don't see and that's under the sound of my voice, thank you so much, y'all. I think my son Fonte Burrow be peeking at me. He won't let me see him peeking, but I heard he be peeking at his mama. But Fonte, if you on here, thank you so much for joining in with your mama on tonight. I know you somewhere hiding in the background. He likes to hide, but that's all right. Let him hide, as long as he looking at his mama. Nisi said, take your time. I'm gonna always be here. You got me crying right now. I felt that. Thank you, Nisi. Thank you so much. The word is just to strengthen you, Nisi. It really is. Sometimes what people what people need to hear, I just feel like God tell me just to say it, because when I come up with these messages, sometimes, y'all, honest to God, I be talking to myself, but I just know that I'm not the only one that be going through these situations and circumstances. So God says they need to hear it, just like he told Moses, get them people together and tell them this is what I said to do. Even though the people mumbled and groaned and complained against Moses, Moses still had a work to do for God, because guess what? Moses knew where his help come from. His help was coming from the Lord. I understand. My help comes from the Lord. So, Tasha, thank you so much. I hope y'all, whoever in here, so I hope I'm talking to everybody. Zizi said, I did a great job. Thank you. That's my other daughter who be peeking behind the scenes. Now she don't peek. She look behind the scene. My son, he peeks from behind the scene. He don't want mama to see him. Y'all, he won't even let mama be his Facebook friend. So let him keep peeking. But glory be to God, that's still my boy. With that being said, y'all, Nisi, I'm so sorry. Auntie can't talk no more. Auntie just done. Auntie tired. Auntie about to get in the bed. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all, like I said, for coming on here tonight. Y'all, Y'all bless my soul when y'all get on here and hang with me. Shani said, keep being an inspiration. I will, Shani. That's my road dog. We talk every day, all day. She encourages me. I encourages her. Y'all, and with that being said, like I said, if y'all want to, y'all can donate. My husband put the cash app up here. It's not necessary, but if y'all want to, y'all can. I'm just asking y'all if you want to, you can. But if not, to God be the glory. And I'll see you all Monday at 7 o'clock. Don't forget about us. I'll be back next Thursday, God willing. Y'all, hopefully, Nisi said I needed that. This my heart is so heavy right now. Nisi, just keep trusting God. That's all I can say. Trust God. Look toward the hills for which cometh your help. I just don't believe that, honest to God, I don't believe that God brought you this far to leave you yet. Matter of fact, I know God has not left you, because just by him having you on here tonight, just to hear this word strengthens and encourages people. When I say Nisi, I mean, I understand. I understand how times get rough. I understand how times get hard, y'all. I'm a person who thought I was superwoman. I promise y'all, I thought I was superwoman. I would pray for a person. I would run here to there to do this and that for a person. And I found myself at the lowest point of my life. And boy, I didn't understand, and it didn't feel good. And it hurt me. Javon Parker, thank you. He said, good job. Thank you for joining in. And it hurt me. But one thing God showed me is that my word will keep you. I'll be your strength in a time of trouble. God's word is what kept me. I promise y'all. It wasn't nobody but God. Kalia, thank you so much. She said, God is good. God is great. That's right, Kalia. And I promise y'all, it was nobody but God that kept me. I stand here and tell the world, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I'll be. Because in that depression, I promise y'all, I was about ready to throw the towel in. Matter of fact, I had threw the towel all the way in. And God kept saying, get back up, get back up, get back up. Y'all, I had to listen to sermons day in, day out. I had to read the Bible. I had a lady who sat with me. She read that Bible to me. The more I pumped the word of God inside of me, the more my strength came back to me. So, y'all, I encourage y'all to hold on to God's changing hand. Nisi said, my mama the reason why I'm here. Yeah, your mama the reason why you're here. Y'all don't know, y'all young people on here tonight. We be praying for y'all. I don't care what y'all do. A mother is not going to stop praying for her child. Even when it gets rough, when we want to just throw the towel in on the child, God said, you better not, because I promise you that child. So y'all young people, we as parents, I just don't believe it's not a parent out here that's not praying for their child 24/7. But guess what? The Bible says, train up a child. Train up a child. They may go away, but I believe because of our prayers and the word that we putting in them, they coming back. It's how you look at things. Remember, I say, change your mind about how you see your child. Change your mind about what your child is doing. God said, you done talked about the problem long enough. Come to me with the solution. Just like he told the children, bring me the answer. Don't bring me the problem. Don't come telling me how big those people in. Come to me with the answer. Y'all parents, y'all better pray for y'all kids. Go to God with the answer. I see my child coming out. I see better days coming for my child. My child is blessed. My child is blessed. My children is blessed. Generations to come is blessed. My son is blessed. My daughter is blessed. My grandkids are blessed. Y'all go to God and start declaring God's word. God promised us blessings. So I'm going to bless those who I've been blessed with. See, God blessed us with these kids. Turn around, Lord, I thank you for these blessings. See, stop going to God with the problem and just go to God with the solution. That's all he asked the children of Israel to do. He said, stop coming to me with the problem. Come to me with the solution. Don't tell me about how big these people is. I just told you this land was flowing with milk and honey and had good fruit in it. Don't come to me telling me how they look at you. Come back and tell me how you gonna possess the land. Come back and tell me how you gonna bring your enemies down. Come back and tell me how you and your kids finna get to the promised land. Come back and tell me how you gonna praise me when I get through. Come back and tell me how you gonna praise me coming out and going in. Don't come back telling me what the people said and how they looking at you. That's the problem, not the solution. I'm a God that operates in solution. I'm tired of hearing about the problem. See, the city of Chicago talks about how bad the kids are. They talk about the problem and they keep talking about what the solution gonna be, but faith without works is dead. You talk about how bad they are, but there's never a solution to fix the problem. God said, I'm tired of operating in problems. Bring me your solution. Write the vision. Make it plain, though it may tarry. I promise you I'll bring it to pass. So with that being said, y'all, I'm out of here. Y'all, because I'll be on number 2, and that ain't gonna happen. So y'all, thank y'all. But I promise you I'll be back for more on Monday, me and my husband on Monday. Y'all keep on inviting people to this page. Y'all keep on flooding this page for me. Y'all keep on sharing this page out for me. And to God be the glory. Everything I do, God gets the glory out of it. Javon, say good night. Good night, Javon. Good night to each and every one of y'all. Until Monday, y'all be blessed.
Support this podcast by sending a cash donation via Cash App at $VANLUC, and thank you for your support.